welcome to Tub Talks with Damon. My very special guest today in the tub is New York advocate, legend, wonderful human Michelle Lopez. How are you today?
I am fabulous.
I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here.
I'm glad I'm here. Nothing happens until it's due time. Nothing happens until it's due time. I share that with you. Oh my goodness. I would look at your past Tub Talks. I've seen segments. And
oh my God. See, maybe I was too nervous because, like, you're this legend.
No,
and I was
nothing
like, oh, wait, I have to do this.
Oh, my God.
I felt like I had to do this a couple of years before I could approach you. Maybe that's my own thinking.
No. Hey, let me tell you.
Oh, my goodness.
You did diligence.
Well, I cannot
So
wait
let's go.
to share, for people to understand what we're talking about, why you are a legend. I know a lot of people watching this already know this. Before we get into that, I want to ask you, Michelle, what do you like most about your body?
Oh my God, these tatas right here, these breasts. I love my girls. I'm a breast girl, right? I'm a bisexual woman. Yes, indeed. And I gotta be honest, something about breasts.
Yeah.
Both, it's one of the most sensitive areas in my body. It's one of the areas, there are times, I remember there were times I was in pain. And when I say pain, emotional pain. Mm-hmm. And I gotta share this with you. It's David.
Please do.
And I remember just starting to massage my breast, and I got to a level of comfort. So there's a lot of things that went on that I connect with, but it's also to me. You know, I feel, you know, I like touch, you know, and it's one of the enjoyment areas that I love of myself. I love it. I pleasure myself a lot. I'm very sex positive, but right now, no one touches my body but me.
That is, you're not seeing anyone? Or
No,
connecting with anyone?
I am not.
Why not?
I have, it's a choice that I made.
Okay.
I really feel, I'm also too, I'm an incest survivor.
Yeah.
I was sexually molested from the age of 7 until I was like 12 years old. And this happened in Trinidad. So we're not digressing. I'm a storyteller. Okay. But I'm going to make it make sense. I'm going to give you little vignettes.
Get there. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So I'm an incest survivor. And one of the things that is going on right now in my life, this has happened within the last 3 years. I'm now beginning to address that molestation that went on, what it did to me, you know, how I felt, because many of us who are these sexual molested, you know, started out as children, right? We grow into adults, and there are some pathways that we are then, it's what led me to that pathway. And I gotta say, it's what ties in now. Got diagnosed 1991, 9 months after the birth of my daughter with HIV. And it did not start making sense to me until three years ago, because I'm now taking care of my mental health. I'm on medications. I'm not zonked up. I feel free. You know, I'm an out bisexual woman. If my family, you know, I get love from my family. I have family that really loves me because they have gotten it now when I said, just let me be me. Let me be me. I know what makes me happy. I know what makes me tick. I know what, and you know what? I've learned through this therapy because I've looked at my previous behaviors. I looked at my previous behaviors. Oh, hold on. I know, girl. I got I got a little excited there. Yeah. You know, and there were things that I learned. You know, the benefits of therapy. Therapy is a very taboo coming from the islands. You know, oh, what they know about therapy. Therapy is white people thing. Yes, that's what these were the words, right? I heard, you know, therapy is white people thing. Therapy, you know, and I heard this throughout the years. You know, so when my molestation started, I'm going to say this. Behavior is what we know. Behavior is what we're going to do. What did you think that I started doing? What was the behavior that was very common? I'm giving you a trivia. A behavior that's very common in Trinidad is the consumption of rum, alcohol. You have a problem, you take a good drink. Yeah, you're dealing with some issues, you take a good drink, and you don't have to worry about a thing. Those were the words that I heard. And that's the behavior. So my first line of drugs, because of that molestation, was alcohol.
Were you giving alcohol to child?
No, I started drinking it because I knew to myself, behavior is what we know is what we're going to do. I heard the adults around me, boy, take a good drink and you're good. So alcohol was there. My godmother had a bar, and I was drinking that alcohol to get myself ready for when my godbrothers come to do their acts. So by the time I was 12, 13, I was diagnosed an alcoholic.
So this was happening while you were being molested?
Yes,
drinking.
The drinking. That's what got me through it. That was my first line. But did any of these things make sense to me? No, I just knew of things I heard, what you can do, feeling pain, being violated. My mom and my dad were separated at this period of time in my life. And my godmother stepped in. So this is where I would say my framework, by the time I was 16, I had attempted my second suicide, and I almost died because I was in a coma for a week. And when I came out of the coma, Damon, a fucking Catholic priest, is over me with a rosary, and he's saying, "You're not going to heaven, you're gonna die. God do not like people who," you're saying this stuff, fucking teenager who just, and it's like all these are events. I'm not making it up. It happened, and these things did not add up for me until three years ago when I got into therapy and I talked about these things, because there were certain behaviors that came from me. I'm a very, I'm not an academic person. I'm not academic. But I have a high IQ.
Yes.
My parents had my IQ tested. I have a high IQ. And it's like I have this thought pattern. It makes sense. I can give you a whole program. I can give you a whole, pretty much a methodology to use. I didn't learn it from a book. I learned it because of life experiences. Of one time, I remember, I would get asked to speak at conferences, and after you speak, and who's coming up to you, and they want to interview you, and I remember a reporter asking me one time, "So where did you get your degree?" I said, "Oh my God, UCLA." She said, "You are an alumni of UCLA?" I said, "Yes, the University of the corner of Lenox Avenue."
The corner of Lenox Avenue.
University of the corner of Lenox Avenue. That's where I met my daughter's father. That's where this side of my life came. That's what led me to being diagnosed with HIV.
Wow. So let me go back a little.
I'm going to interrupt you a bit. I'm a menopausing girl. So I'm going to be sweating a bit. Okay. I need to get a little white toe. Okay. Perfect. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. The girl cannot be shining. The girl cannot look sweaty.
You look great.
Okay.
You look great.
A little makeup girl, but we good.
Great.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So now,
so that was Trinity.
How old are you now?
I'm gonna be 57.
Wonderful.
The 22nd of February. So that's in the next month.
Wonderful. And so it's been in these recent years that some of these points from the past have come together.
Yes.
How did you start to put that together?
I'm very, very displeased with a lot of unjust that's going on in reference to human beings, in reference to, again, based on my lived experiences or lived of other experiences, I've seen individuals of myself marginalized. I identify with the marginalized community. As I said, I'm out bisexual. I raised my children with the help of a group of lesbians. My sister was included. She's not a lesbian, but my sister she's also to a DV survivor. She was battered by her husband. I mean, battered to the point where she would be in the hospital. So if I even also, to not digress and give you the history of the women in our family, we are all survivors of some form of injustice. Horrible injustice. But we survived, and I understand now what my resiliency is about. It's just embedded in me. I'm not going to give in. I'm not throwing in the towel. And I learned from the floors of ACTA because my diagnosis at the time when I was diagnosed was also to the diagnosis of my newborn baby. Yes, she was 9 months old, but there were already tests available that could have informed me this kid is positive. Yes, we are seeing her immune system, your immune system. She's newly born, but we are going to continue, in care. Ooh, ragtime. I'm feeling
Oh,
sweat. Yeah. So we both were diagnosed. We both got placed into the shelter system because, excuse me, of the situation, because of the circumstances that was going on in my life. ACT UP was in full force the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, okay? And my case manager, because of where I got tested, the case manager that was assigned to me, she took me to the floors of ACT UP because ACT UP were looking for women of color who were diagnosed with HIV. At that time in New York State were doing these testing of newborn babies. And my children went through that system, but they were not telling women that they are testing our babies for HIV. Mm-hmm. So what they were doing, these babies' tests were coming in, they were positive, so they knew definitely that came from a positive woman. That's the mom's immune system. And I learned about all these things and I got educated on why I need to take a stand. And the HIV Law Project, oh my God, this woman, I still love her, Terry McGovern. I don't get to interact with her as much, but fierce lesbian also too, that was organizing. And these were the different women that I met through me going to Active Floor. So getting to the point where one of the first radical thing I did, Active needed women who were living with the virus, who were getting sick, who were being diagnosed. We had an AIDS diagnosis and we were not even getting anything, any kind of benefits. And we were dying. And that same year, Katrina Haslip, oh my God, I gotta say it, Katrina Haslip. She's one of the ancestors whose shoulders I stand on. She was a black woman. She was dying from the virus. She had just came out of the prison system. And believe it or not, within that time, there was a conference that New York State AIDS Institute would have every year, the annual statewide conference. I went to that conference, and a woman who was moved by the things that I was talking on took me to Katrina Haslip's house. And I met Katrina Haslip on her dying bed. And she said to me, you don't have to be a doctor. You don't have to be no scientist. She said, talk from the heart. Yeah. And she said it. She was very sick. And the woman said to me, her name was Kadisha. She worked for the American Red Cross Association. And they were doing a lot of work in reference to AIDS work. And Kadisha said to me, she's very weak. Let's go now. But what she said to me is still in this heart today. It's still in this heart today.
Speak from the heart.
Because she said to me, you matter. You're a black woman. She said, thanks for coming to see me. People would never, ever take that away from me. Myself, God, and Kadisha is my witness. And I came back to ACT UP and I said to them, I want to go. I was one of the testimonial women that went down to the Food and Drug Administration. And we testified, myself and another sister by the name of Phyllis Sharp. Phyllis also too is gone now, but Philip was an ACT UP member. And we told it was Ruth Wessinger, I believe was her last name, who was the head of the FDA. Women are dying from AIDS and we don't even as much as have some kind of benefit. We have children and some of us, our children, I said to them, my child, she's going to die because I was told that she's going to die. The oldest she'll probably live on to is about maybe, 5 or 6 years old. Digress, but it's a good digress. That child is turning 34 this year, okay? She's got to be. So, we testified, we won the case, and women started getting benefits in New York. We started getting benefits. I was a figure within ACTA, but I was protected. So, those who have gone off and written books and written movies and got rich and got all the recognition.
Primarily white men.
I give them I give them thanks. They did what they knew best to do.
Yeah.
But it opened a pathway for me that still today, I still want people of color, marginalized folks to know, if we are not around these decision-making table, and we are there because, yes, we want to speak about our experience, and as a citizen, as a person, as a human, it is unjust. We can fix this. We bring suggestions. If we don't continue in that realm, we will continue to be selling each other's souls down the river. Yeah. It has happened. I have seen it. Yeah. I have seen leadership that has done this to us. Yeah. I have seen Black leadership who have tokenized us. You have tokenized your own person. And what from that experience, what I learned from that is, again, you can speak for self. You know, you can represent. But unless it is coming from me as that individual, you're going to short sight the message.
So can you share what does it mean when you're tokenized? Like, what does that look like?
Tokenized, okay. At one point, I chaired one of the first national organization. It was called NAPWA, the National Association of People with AIDS. Okay? Before I got on NAPWA's board of directors, you had to apply. And when I applied, my immigration status was questioned. Mm-hmm. I was challenged. Mm-hmm. And at my board interview, I said to the folks, these were my peers. I saw them as my peers, yes, who was the doctor and who was the lawyer at the time and who was, the titles, right? And they said to me, well, Michelle, we need to know, is it legally sound? Are you, can you legally serve? I said, excuse me. This organization says the National Association of People with AIDS. It did not say the National Association of Citizens with AIDS. I said, so don't fuck with me. I would call every media. And back then, yes, I would say the media, everybody wanted to talk to Michelle because I'm very forthright. I'm very I'm outspoken. I'm the Taraji now. I'm the Taraji from the AIDS community. I'm going to keep it real and I'm going to get through what the fuck ever I got to get through, right? But I've learned some things. So coming back to, yes, the gay white men, yes. Am I angry? Yes. Am I disappointed? Yes. But I'm still here. So I still have the opportunity. Yeah. I still have the opportunity to make a difference. And I can give an account when I worked, in the healthcare setting, because eventually, yes, I have a legal status where I can remain, and I've worked here in the United States, and I've paid my taxes. I've never become a citizen because of that legal floor that I fell under. Yeah. My status was under a status called Prucol. And that's a whole nother segment.
I want to come
back to that. God, that's a whole nother segment.
But I just want to follow here. So, you were diagnosed in 1990. And this was
9 months after. So really it was March of 91.
So this was after your daughter was born.
Yes.
And it was because your daughter tested positive.
No, it was because I was living in a household being severely battered by a drug-using crack user. He's using crack. I'm sniffing cocaine, and I think I'm in a better space than him because he's the crackhead. Oh, no, darling. Eventually, I learned because I went back to school. I went back to school and got my KSAC, credentials. So I understood. I understand the drug and the disease of addiction. I understand why we use it. I understand there's a lot of things. Again, when I look at these experiences and these situations and circumstances, here I am today. I am effective in what I'm going to do because I judge no one. I allow someone to be themselves. I deal with the challenges that come before me. I really do. There has been days, yes, because of human. There were days because I don't work full time. I had a very great job. I got terminated from my job because bureaucracy. Yeah. I got told, we have information here that your work authorization is not updated. This is 2022. I've worked, paid taxes, and to get this,
right,
and a great job. So here I am. The children, my American citizen children, is who's taking care of their mom right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So definitely want to come back to that.
Yes.
I want to know, because what I'm hearing is he got diagnosed And you almost immediately went into action. You got
Absolutely.
involved with ACTA.
Fear.
And at the time, the FDA and the CDC did not acknowledge or really have guidelines for treating women living with AIDS.
None.
And you were one of the people that stepped up to that.
I was one of the women who stepped up. I felt like a fucking congressperson. Was I a citizen? No. I was a woman who understood, and I learned some things, and I applied it to me going forward, and I spoke from the heart. I do not do scripts. It's very hard for someone to say, well, Michelle, we put this together, for you to say. And when I look at it, I say, okay, no problem. I cannot do scripts. I would follow the guidelines because I want to be effective in what I said, but there are things that come out, Damon, and it needed to be said.
Yes.
It needed to be said. I don't have to worry about who's funding me. I don't have to worry about who's signing off on my paycheck. I tell people today, this is spiritually driven work. I'm being provided for, and I'm going to continue right now. Monday, right, is Martin Luther King Day. That's what I'm going to do. Again, for me, it's relevant. It's important. A very good friend. He's one of the, activists that I met, and he was someone who was doing an awesome amount of work for immigrants diagnosed with HIV way back in the day. I met this man in 1993, and we are good friends, and he's very sick right now, and nobody's helping him, and he's embarrassed because he doesn't want people to see him looking that way, and I'm going to his home Monday, and I'm going to cook. If he got to clean up the house, I got to clean up the house. I love him. These are the brothers, these are the families, that I've formed throughout the years, and these are genuine people. They have integrity. We all had our flaws. We all did the shit. But that's my brother. And I'm going to do that Monday. And I've already spoken to some friends at Sage. And, I have the liaison person who's, so you wouldn't have to go through this tedious fucking intake to get, things going. He needs help right now. And that's it. So, again, I don't have to have no fucking grant or no, I can do this because guess what? I know how to do this. I worked in public health for 32 years.
Yes, that's what I want to ask more about.
I have worked in public health, and I've worked in public health very effectively from testing to peer navigation to helping individuals get access to care and treatment and services. I have worked in the LGBT community. I have worked with heterosexual people. I love men and women. I love human beings. And it's because of that love. It's a genuine love. There are times if I can't cope with you, guess what? I'm going back over. I'm going to take a step back. It's okay to step back because guess what? I'm feeling overwhelmed. And I don't ever want to be overwhelmed helping somebody. I want to help somebody with all of the fire that I got. I love it. There are great outcomes when you help a person.
So I'm really interested that what has happened in your life, the molestation you described, the drugs, the diagnosis with HIV and AIDS, AIDS at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was diagnosed AIDS. Let me tell you, in 1996, I got diagnosed with toxoplasmosis. And I was in the hospital. And toxoplasmosis was one of the opportunistic infections that was killing us back in the day. I'm here telling the story, right?
Yes.
I had PCP pneumonia. So, on paper, yes, she has AIDS. Today, right now, I have a viral load, okay? It is 97 now. It finally came down. I've always maintained, not always maintained, because I had an issue going on where my viral load started going up. And I've always been in sexual relationships, significant relationships with a person that's negative. Because I was in a relationship with a female at the time, and she wanted to know more about PrEP. I told her about my viral load. I do not hide my status. I disclose. I see disclosing as something that I built it into getting to know me. Because how I tell you, I'm letting you know from the get-go, but how I tell you, you're going to thank me. We become the best of friends. If there's other information you need, there might be family members who then I can help, da-da-da. So it's a beautiful thing. And my partner wanted to know if she should, have information, get PrEP. And her fucking doctor said to her, lesbians don't transmit. You don't have to worry about that. You cannot tell a negative person who is in a relationship, who is having sex. Your doctor don't know what you and I do behind these closed doors. Honey, I'm kinky, I'm freaky, I do shit. Okay? So if she once PrEP, the viral load was over 200. Give her the information. Okay? And that's the kind of shit, again, in our marginalized communities. That's a reality. Nobody told me this. This is not gossip. This is not exaggeration. This is fucked up public health issues that's going on. And we have methods. We can fix this, Damon. We can fix the PrEP, the access, the information. You know we can fix that. As a positive woman, it is my due diligence. Who's negative, let's keep them negative. Not everyone could get to, I gotta say, where I'm at right now with this diagnosis, shit. Not everyone could cope. You know what I'm saying? And be at a place, where I'm at. I speak about my spirituality. It drives me.
I want to hear more about that.
My spirituality, I am someone, I know of prayer. I was taught the word of prayer as a young little girl. Yes, I was a Christian, Catholic. I was raised with a lot of Catholic teachings. But age brings wisdom. And the more knowledge and, at one point in time in my life, I got what we call baptized. And I understood what that baptism is about. I believe in God. And I pray to God. And no one can tell me different because I know the situations and circumstances that came into my life. And I remember, because I have a spiritual mother now. And when I call her, she say, Mimi, let's pray. That's the name she calls me. I love it.
Mimi.
One of my best friends. Yes, Dr. Taylor. She calls me Mimi too. So you can call me Mimi. I think it's a cute name. I love butterflies. Have a bad crush on Mariah. So call me Mimi too. Yes. So I would call her when my back is against the wall, Damon. When I feel as if I cannot deal with it anymore. That's what brings me right where I need to get. Prayers. Spirit. Prayers. The power of prayer is amazing.
And is this
something
it's
my belief.
You do in a church in an organized way?
You don't have to be. I do it within myself. I do it within, I have learned the being, the God that I believe in, he's around me. That's spirit force. And that's my belief. And no one, I don't allow anyone to take that away from me.
Do people try?
Belief. Oh, people have tried. I have friends who don't believe in God. They don't believe in Jesus. They don't be, And again, everything that I have learned and through my experiences, it came into my life for a reason, for a purpose. It was up to me to recognize it and what do I do with it. Mm-hmm. So what I'm doing with it is a choice that I make, and I'm happy with it, and I will continue to believe in God and serve him. Yeah. And I believe in my ancestral walkway, because in my domain of my spirituality, we acknowledge our ancestors. Something I'm sharing with you, and I think it's personal, but I share it with you. I am what you call a child of Oya. And when you read of the ancestor Oya, you will understand Michelle Lopez a whole lot, because these are the different teachings and historic information now. It helped me to understand. It helped me to be able, Michelle, yes, you have mental illness, but nothing is wrong with you. You have some things that's going on with you. And because of these experiences that you have, this is why you're doing it. And if you're not happy with why you're doing it, here are some things that you can do. And that's what I apply to myself. And that's how I'm coping, and that's how I'm living, and that's how I'm helping.
That's beautiful. Okay.
It's gonna happen.
So what kind of ties this together? The experiences you've been through, the traumas, and the resilience, and that propelling to help others, to use your experience to help others. Yes. To step up in front of FDA in 1990, 91, comes from that place.
Yeah. I didn't have to have a green card. I didn't have to be an American citizen. I learned that from ACT UP. Yes, I can't remember. I remember this guy, Andrew Zimmerman. I can't remember Andrew's last name, okay? right? There was another guy, Bob Lederer, right? Bob and me, we don't communicate again, but these are people that came to my home, sat with me. I trusted them. I shared certain personal things. And they said, well, Michelle, okay, so you could testify, but you cannot get arrested because of your immigrant status. I was protected, and I was protected. Michelle, we're not going to put you on the line where you can get arrested. Yeah. Yes! Yeah. This is my analogy. This is my reality. So who said, oh, Michelle, you're so loud? I didn't fucking sell out. No, I get it. Maxine Wolf was another woman that I met. Oh my God, loved it. Her brains, the things, how she would think. Anne, oh my goodness, what is Anne's last name? Oh my God. She runs the gay LGBT syndication. Oh my God.
Northrop?
And Northrop.
Yeah.
Love her. Had a crush on her when these were things, one of the first lesbians that I knew that I had a tingle reading a book. Audre Lorde.
Oh yeah.
This little girl in Trinidad. This little girl in Trinidad found out about this book they didn't want the girls to read. It was called Call Me Sammy. Sammy Queen.
Yeah.
And because of curiosity, I said I had to read the book.
So you got hold of Audre Lorde's work when you were in Trinidad?
Yes. As a young little girl. Yes. And I read that book.
What did it mean to you at the time?
Michelle, you gotta be you. And I didn't know what it is to be me. I get it now.
It's hard to think of you not knowing who you are and expressing who you are.
It's one of the most demeaning aspect of a human being's life, and we don't know this. Many of us don't know this. When you don't know and you don't recognize who you are, but when you do, you recognize purpose. It's your fulfillment. And for who don't get it, that's where I'm at. I do have my days that I feel, because I'm a person that like nice things. I like to shop. I like to treat myself nice. I like the pedicures, the manicure, I like to do the hair. I like to change the look. And if I can't do those things, now, okay. Take a couple deep breaths. I've met some people along my life that have really given me some great tools to work with. Yeah, and it's working.
Wow.
So I work what's working for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you comfortable right now? How's this feeling?
So good. Oh my God, Damon. Yeah, I want to take a sip of
coffee.
Take a sip of
coffee.
The coffee is good.
I'm just going to grab my water, which just fell on the floor. So let's talk about some of the things you've been working, some of the work you've been doing the last 32 years.
Goodness.
And then what happened?
Yes. I first started out as what we call a linkage to care coordinator, and I worked for Community Healthcare Network.
Yes.
That was my first
CHN.
job. I got hired. Yes. But back then they were called. We love CHN. I don't care what the fuck nobody tells me, honey. I've had my experiences. Yes. But
Which
there's a person there. Any
That
organization,
is
right?
true.
There's a person there. I always call his name, Dr. Luis
Freddie.
Milan.
Yay, Freddie.
Okay.
We're going to have, who, by the way,
did some
I want him on this show.
things.
And I want him on this show.
You better. You got.
Tell him.
Freddie is 2024. You gotta be on Tub Talk. You gotta be here with Damon. What? That's a legend in his own way.
Oh yeah. So
things that I learned, right?
Yeah.
So I got hired, my first job, because Community Healthcare Network, their executive director at that time, CEO, her name was Dr. Anna Dumore, received a letter from me because a doctor misdiagnosed me. I'm someone that has the HPV virus. I was having these horrible warts breaking out vaginally, and that fucking man said to me, this was a doctor who was newly there working. I'm a new patient. I was patient 1. And I went for a GYN appointment. He said, oh, you woman with HIV, you don't clean yourself properly. I need for you to go home and wash yourself with Bethadine. He told me what it was, and I went, and that shit burned the fucking warts in my vagina. But again, things happen for a reason. I shared it with some of those women. They said, oh my God, Michelle, it's either herpes or you have vaginal warts. Or, don't touch it. Don't,
But this
things
was a
happen.
doctor.
So I wrote this letter. Yes, this was
Yeah.
a doctor. Long story short,
Oh
but
my
after
God.
I wrote that letter, yes, with the help of my case manager, with the help of people from ACT UP, I requested he needs to be terminated. I said, because if he's going and do this kind of care for women who are positive, he's going to get this agency into trouble,
Yes.
Dr. Dumore connected with me. She called my case manager. She called Dr. Milano. Dr. Milano was the man who tested me and gave me my results for HIV. So this man is someone, I got to say, when that life of HIV came into me, okay, he held my hands. He held my hands, and there were things that I learned. I got offered a job because I was going out and voluntarily sharing my life story. I'm living with HIV. I was walking into places throughout the Bronx because I was in a shelter in the Bronx. CHN put me in that shelter there, me and my daughter. And because of me going out and doing what I was doing, people were coming in left and right asking to be tested. And they said, we met this woman, and they gave them the flyer. Some of them kept the flyer I gave them. And Dr. Dumore brought these directors together. And when she brought me down to the office, because she told the case manager, go get that client. She says, there was like 6 different people. They were all different directors. And she said to me, I want you to tell these people how and what they need to do to help you. She said, because I understand you're not a citizen. I understand, she shared the things that they had about me. She said, but I'm offering you a job. And your title is going to be called intervention specialist. But I need to know what we need to do. They called GMH. I remember her saying those words. I can visualize and see Dr. Dumore sitting on her desk, and she looked at one of her, this was her vice president. She said, call GMHC. They have funding to help immigrants with it, with AIDS and HIV. She said, this woman needs a job, and I'm giving her a job. That's how I got a legal status. It was through GMHC. CHN hired me. I worked at Community Healthcare Network for 19 years in different positions. My first job was an intervention specialist. When people were coming in, there were people also too who were showing symptoms. They were scared of taking the test. I would then do workshops in the waiting area of CHN, talking about myself, why it's important to know your status. Knowing your status gives you an opportunity to do something. If you're negative, we have the tools now to keep you negative. And we can work with you. If you test positive, we have access to care. I can vouch. I know the agencies in New York who provide good care. I've fostered relationship with clinicians. Not everyone is perfect. I understand the bureaucracy that is going on within our healthcare systems, but we have enough effective services. Yes, it can make it better. I want it to be better. But I am a person that was raised with these values. What you have, you make the best of it, because that way is how you can get for more. Wow. What you have, you make the best of it, because it's what would lead you and get you to have more. That more can be change. That more can be better things. That more. I've sat with grant writers. I remember sitting with grant writers at Community Healthcare Network. I won a very prestigious award. It came from an organization called Funder for the City of New York. And I won. It's a plaque. And it was a picture, the stairs going up the Supreme Court. That was very meaningful and significant in my life. These are the experiences. When Obama lifted the travel ban, we had a travel ban in the United States, and a horrible congressman, he's no longer here, had written into law, if you were HIV positive, you were denied the travel coming into the United States. Guess who worked with the Obama administration?
Michelle Lopez.
Michelle Lopez via NAPWA.
Wow.
Sat. His name was Jeff Crawley. He was the policy, right? Director for the White House he was the AIDS czar. And because of a man by the name of Frank Oldham, who was the CEO back then of NAPWA, everyone can talk about all the wrong and crazy shit that Frank did. But yeah, I'm going to give you both sides. Frank said, Michelle, you got to be able to show us and help us understand what it is within this policy that we can show to Jeff. And I found it was a whole paragraph. My God, I can't remember it. And I showed it to them and I said, help Jeff to understand what this is saying. Because what it was saying, those of us who are even living here in the United States, we were being denied green cards. And we tested positive here in the fucking United States. So how the hell would you deny me a green card and do these kind of things when I test? It spoke the things that we were identifying in that policy. So the AIDS czar, he did diligence.
Yeah.
And Obama lifted that travel ban.
Yes.
No one can take that away from me.
And for you, that meant what?
I did that. That meant I gave and I worked on and I made it possible that immigrants, that human beings were no longer being denied access or being denied, opportunity to get somewhere, because many of us who needed that visa or that green card to come to the United States was because of our survival. We wanted to survive. I love my country. I wish I could live in Trinidad. But home started here for me.
So when the travel ban was in effect, could you go to Trinidad and come back?
No.
So you couldn't even visit Trinidad. Your home.
I could not.
When the travel ban
was.
Once it was lifted.
Once it was lifted.
Were you able to go back and forth?
No, not at all. I could not have. No, because I was living with HIV then, and they still had to work.
Still, for people living with HIV, and this is important for people to know that this is still happening, that you could still not, even with the travel ban.
Yes, even with the travel ban lifted, there were some individuals, who were still. So when that went on, exactly.
Is that the case today?
No. It's not. That is not the case today, because now when you go to get your green card, yes, they test you for HIV, but it's not held against you.
Okay. When did that change?
It changed in, we got Obama to lift that in, oh my goodness. Damon, this is so significant to me. Why am I forgetting the year? Not 2016.
Before he left the presidency.
Before he left the presidency. It was in his,
Right. Okay, because that's sort of what I remember. It was like later.
Yes,
I know it was later.
In his
and because of that, it got overshadowed
by
with
so much. Help of Jeff Crawley. Yes.
Which now allows you to be able to visit.
I travel, I have,
travel to come back.
No, I still cannot. Damon, that's a whole nother interview. I still cannot. My son, very recently, had to file these papers. It cost him a good $4,000 or $5,000
Oh my goodness.
to call what you call a change of status.
Yeah.
Okay? And I got green card approval, got legal status under the Clinton administration.
Yeah.
And this is the bureaucracy I'm having to deal with. Okay?
So help me follow.
Yeah.
Under the Clinton administration, what changed for you in your immigration status?
Yes.
That you were able to
work. That's how
but you still couldn't go back and forth to Trinidad.
I couldn't go back and forth. No, there were stipulations under that, because when you read the clauses under the protocol status, you would see.
So under Obama's administration, you were ultimately able to visit Trinidad and come back into the U.S.
Not at all. I did not. No,
you could not. Okay,
I could not, and I did not.
Okay.
But I would tell you, in 1996, because my son, he's born here, he's a citizen, he was down in Trinidad, family members thought I was going to die, because that's when I had the toxoplasmosis.
Yeah.
They did not want to give me my son back. And Michelle Lopez got on a plane, took her daughter Raven, who's an American citizen, went down to Trinidad, got her son, came back into the United States, went through customs, and it was myself and God and those two children and my spirituality.
Wow.
And that immigration officer did not flip the pages of my passport. He just stamped me for re-entry.
So wait, I want to follow.
And I got back into
So legally, that was, you may have had some.
Yes,
you may have gotten in trouble.
Yeah, I would have.
But it didn't happen.
It did not happen.
Now that is something.
That's my spirituality. That's my faith. That's the things that I can go back and reflect on, and I can say, God,
we got to make a movie out of this.
You did it.
This is like.
I'm doing my
this
book.
This is amazing. I was going to ask you that. Are we going to get a book?
Do my book.
I also want the movie. Like I can just see this being a pivotal scene in the movie.
I can see it. Oh, honey, I can see it. I totally can see it.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Okay, it has to happen
This
is an era, and again, I'm looking right now at what. Am I a political person? No, I'm a just person. I believe in justice. That's what I believe. In the power. Of what righteousness, what it stands for, what it means. And there's many of us. We cherry pick it. We put up the smoke screens. No, I don't have time for that. I don't.
Now, here's the part that shocked me when we talked about this before we got into the tub. Mm-hmm. You worked steadily in public health.
Yes.
You helped so many people.
Yes.
One of the people you helped has been in this tub a couple times, Rod McCoy. He's spoken openly about how scared and vulnerable he felt when he tested positive and how you were the tester and you helped him and you've given him hope, and 22 years later he is thriving, largely because of that experience with you. So and that's just one of, I'm sure, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that you have served over the past 32 years.
Absolutely.
And then in 2022,
okay.
Tell us what changed.
What changed for me in 2022 is being fired from a job that I was doing a kick-ass service. Yeah. I knew that. I got an opportunity to be what we call a patient navigator at a large institution that has the sister girl who brought it to that agency. She is I love her. And I understand respect. I'm not about being confrontational, but again, I am the Taraji within this AIDS community. Yes, I am. And to know my work was very effective, what I was doing. This was a national, grant where people who were aging with HIV. There were many clinical issues. Some of us don't even recognize it. I need help. I need this screening. I need this test. This is the symptoms related to. I'm not there again. I don't throw smoke bombs. There are things that we are required. We should be, because for those of us, many of us, we have this terminology. We are long-term survivors. Who the fuck doctor knows really what it is to treat a long-term survivor living with AIDS and HIV? It's a nuance. It never happened, but it's happening now. Yeah. And we all going to learn from each other, but we cannot do it. No man is an island. It's not just the doctors. It's not just the researchers. Those of us living with the virus, those of us who are doing prevention is all, and this is what I learned, and no one can take this away from me under public health. I don't have to be a clinician, but I can form these relationships and I can foster, these, entities. I'm a game changer. And we're at that point. I'm not about just collecting data anymore. I'm about, we have some information, and because of the things that we learn, we have an opportunity. Let's do this. Look at this. I'm in a fucking tub with a gay white man, naked as day. And we're talking about some real heavy shit that, guess what? I truly believe. This year is meaningful for me. This year has been effective. These are some of the nuance as a woman of color, as an immigrant, as, my God, let's talk about the now, just quickly. I have so much identity with this migration, the migrant issue that's going on.
Yeah. So you just, that ties into why they fired you in 2022, right?
No, they fired me in 2022 because HR claims that they have paperwork that my work authorization needs. It is not updated. I don't have a legal work authorization to work. Damon.
That makes sense.
I worked in some of the best agencies, GMHC, Community Healthcare Network. I ran a campaign for CDC as a third party. HIV Treatment Works, ACTS organization, doctors in New York here who knows me. They would say, Michelle read, it was called HIV Treatment Works. Michelle was the campaign coordinator for that in New York. She paid taxes.
But suddenly in 2022.
In 2022, here we go. So, one of the things I feel, yes, my name is Michelle Lopez. I was born, and since, yes, I am of, my parents' heritage, Hispanic, Black, I don't know what the fuck is playing into this, but it's part of this now.
What do you think is happening? Why did this?
I have no idea. Bureaucracy. Bureaucracy, Damon. And it's bureaucracy because it's the easiest and it's it's the word that I'm going to use because it is what it is. It's unfair, yes. I would love to be compensated, but guess what? I'm still going to continue helping my community. I'm still going to get a decision-making tables. I just completed a pilot study. 10 aging women, aging with HIV, okay? Who's diagnosed with mental health issues and depression. And myself and a psychologist, I love her, Barbara Warren. We created this intervention, we did it for 12 weeks, and it was successful. And guess what? The shit is going to be published.
Yeah.
I'm going to be published.
Yeah.
And I'm continuing my work as a community research advocate.
Yeah. But suddenly the bureaucracy is saying,
yes, I can't work. You can't
legally work.
Yeah, you can't legally work.
And I'm just so confused.
I'm not confused. I
Tell me, what do you
I'm
think?
not confused. I get it because guess what? If I had the money to get this private lawyer, to get an attorney who can be able, right? Because we have paperwork that is sitting up there in Nebraska that shows. And legally, the attorney who is helping me, because yes, she's doing it pro bono. She don't have the staff and the time and the capacity to really drive it, but there are people who knows of me again in the community who I've worked for legally on paper. I don't work off the books. No. So what do you all say, America? Everything will happen in its due time. Stay tuned, baby.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
Okay. I guess.
My mouth to your ears.
Do you think this is correlated with the anti-immigration stuff
Absolutely.
happening?
Absolutely.
So that you're paying a price because of the politics that are happening around immigration in this country right now.
Yes. Yes.
And that's important for people to know because you've been here,
I've lived in this country for 40 years.
And suddenly it's
40 years, yeah.
And suddenly they're saying you can't make a
No,
living.
yeah.
How do you deal with that?
My faith. The support I have around me. The people that I know who loves me. My faith. It's going to happen. And when it happens, I'm calling it. I'm going to get grandfathered in and I'm going to be a citizen because the other thing that I fester within me, I'm going to be turning 57 on February the 22nd. I've never voted a day in my life. When I left Trinidad, I was too young to vote. I was 16. And here I am in the United States. But honey, I organize, I speak to people and let them know the importance of their vote. I bridge people in saying you're an American citizen, you're a registered voter. Do not sit in your neighborhood. There are calls that I get on the phone and I make when the different advocate sends out the blast. I'm blasting too. That's my method. But the day is going to come before Michelle Lopez leaves this earth. She's going to get to vote in the United States.
From the bathtub
From the
to the voting box.
bathtub to the voting box. Get ready.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It has to happen. Nothing happens until it's due time.
Yeah.
For Michelle Lopez.
Yeah.
Michelle Veronica Lopez.
Now you said
Oh,
right
shit.
now you're not dating anybody. You're taking a break from seeing people or dating
I'm
people.
I really am connecting with people. And am I sexually fulfilled? You're damn fucking right. Shit. Yes.
Yeah, right.
I know how to make myself get to that release, that come, that ejaculation. Shit!
Beautiful.
I know how to
Do you
that.
think-
I love it.
Do you foresee a time when you would be open to dating again, or want to
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
someone again?
Yes, absolutely. It is. But
Right now is
right now, I'm so good.
Yeah.
I just feel so fucking exotic. You know, and I have a little caller. I have a little caller. And I would say I told that person when I'm ready.
Yep. Beautiful.
I'm calling.
Beautiful.
And I appreciate that about the person.
Wow.
Yeah, because they respect me for that. And we talk a lot. We have some deep, deep conversations.
Wow.
And I will tell you, it's a man. He stimulates me. Yes.
Beautiful.
Absolutely, honey. Ooh.
Does anything surprise you about being 57 or almost 57? Anything that's different from how you imagined 57 or your 50s were going to be?
Absolutely. I would have never thought at 57 I would be this advocate and this person who's just saying, you know what, this is me, and if you don't like who I am, fucking go about your business. That right there. Because I live my truth.
Yeah.
You know, I feel good about myself. I'm taking care of my mental health. I'm going to make it.
Yeah. And guess what? I've always known you or seen you as that confident person who inspires me. And it's hard for me to imagine you as someone who doubts that, but I understand that's been a process. That wasn't just right away. That's been a process in your life.
It didn't just happen, and it's wrong sometimes when you meet people. Oh my God, one last thing.
Yeah.
What the fuck is normal, Damon?
I don't know. Because you know what? I've always said as a therapist, if people gave up the word should and they gave up the word normal, I'd be out of a job tomorrow. So don't get too happy out there. But no, really, like normal and should are just the root of so much suffering.
I know what's my normal.
Yeah. What's your normal?
Being me.
Being Michelle. Being Mimi.
Being Mimi.
Yeah.
Being Mimi. Being Lola.
Being
All
Lola.
of that, yeah.
You want to tell them what the Lola means?
Because what Lola means, honey, when Lola comes out, she's not taking any shit. You're not going to tell Lola no. So if I'm in a meeting and I say, oh, there are folks who knows Lola, I say, oh, time to get Lola out. I'm about to bring it to the point where, stop the bullshit. I'm cutting through the chase. The elephant in the fucking room is going to be called right now because I thought I had called it, but you didn't get it. But I'm going to call what the elephant in this room is. And when we all walk out of this room, the agreement, Lola is going to be happy because Lola is going to get what Lola wants. That's it.
Wonderful.
That's
Wonderful.
it.
Now you said you're working on a book.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna
How's
happen.
that process going?
It's a little tedious because I need to find the right person who I want to write for.
Right. Because I know the way your mind works, which is wonderful. And it's sometimes hard to write when you're able to think a certain
You're gonna use my words.
Yeah.
You're gonna be able, and when I say my words, yes, you may be able to paraphrase it, but it has to maintain the context that I'm speaking.
Are you working with a ghostwriter or an editor? Okay.
Not right now. No, I'm doing my search.
Okay. So we'll put that out. We'll put that out to the universe.
I'm doing my search.
Of just there's an openness right now about finding the right person.
The right person.
The right person to work with. If people want to follow you and your work and your ideas and your life and your journey, what is the best way for
Believe
them
it
to
or
do
not,
that?
I'm just on IG or Facebook.
Okay.
I really am. I'm
Okay.
not that. My son, I have one of the fucking baddest. My son is a tech man. That's his job. He has a great job. He gets paid very well. I mean, he's living. And they get frustrated because I'm a real tech dummy.
Mm-hmm.
I really, as my own psychological, I'm against artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
I really am.
Yeah.
And again, that's another conversation.
AI will never have these kind of conversations.
Right.
That's for damn sure.
Right. It's a necessity.
Yeah.
It's a necessity. It serves a purpose. But
Yeah.
I don't trust it.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
At all. So,
Me neither.
again,
Okay.
I'm in the now.
Is there anything I haven't asked you that you want to share about your life, share with the bathtub audience, share with the world?
Oh my gosh. No.
Okay.
No. Everything that I think is relevant, that I think,
Great.
made me feel good that I got to discuss it, I did that.
Great. And I think there's a lot more. And
There's
I invite
a
you to
lot
come
more,
back,
but
'cause I want to
honey,
keep hearing about
It's
the
going to
journey.
be Top Talk too.
Yeah, Talk 2.
Talk
Yes.
too with
Yes.
Lola.
Last question then. If you could go back to the Michelle that came to New York at the age of 16
Ooh.
and talk to her today, what would you say to her?
I'm so happy you was not scared.
Love that.
That's it.
Love that. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Oh, and I want to thank everybody for watching this. Thank you for being here. It's coming here to the tub, sitting here with me,
Sitting
hanging
down
out,
with
sharing our truths.
Sharing our truth.
It is an honor, and it is truly an honor that you have chosen to do this today. I know that your story resonates every time I've seen you speak. I know in your work and in your speaking gig, you always reach people because you're so much in your heart, so much in your spirit that it reaches people. And I'm grateful to that. You always reach me when you speak.
Thank you, Damon.
If you like this interview, follow, subscribe down below, push that red button. There's like 130 of these talks now or something. I was just getting ready. I was preparing for Michelle, so I was working up to this one. And, think about what these conversations mean. What does resilience mean? What does surviving adversity? How do we make meaning out of the parts of our lives that are painful, the things that are difficult? But how do we perhaps think about those things as a way to help others and extend love and spirit in this world? Because that is what so much of your life means to me. So thank you. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.